The next thing the papacy claimed was the right to determine the universal common good as it related to certain mandates. And we see that in Populorum Progressio 1967. There's all rights whatsoever, including those of property and of free commerce, are to be subordinated to this principle, that is the principle of the common good. In December 2020, the Congregation for the Doctrine of Faith, which is the papal version of the BRI and the GC, they kind of defend doctrine for the papacy, they wrote a statement called Notes on Morality of Using Some Anti-COVID-19 Vaccines. It's available online, it's a public document, and they said there, quote, "The morality of vaccination depends not only on the duty to protect one's health, but also on the duty to pursue the what? The common good, which the papacy has already determined." And then Pope Francis himself issued a statement in August 21 at Vatican City, which said, "Vaccination is a simple but profound way of promoting the common good and caring for each other, especially the most vulnerable. I pray to God that everyone may contribute their own small grain of sand, their own small gesture of love." So here's the Pope using once again the phrase, the common good. The papacy has determined the common good. They alone have the right to determine the common good, and the common good overrides your individual conscience because the common good overrides all human rights. And this was made explicit in New York by the Courier. They issued a statement. The papacy has the right to deny liberty of conscience or religious liberty for objections by individuals to vaccine mandates. So the papacy has the right to override your liberty of conscience. And this is what the papacy said via the Curia that's the Secretariat of the Archdiocese of New York. It said, Pope Francis has made it clear that it is morally acceptable to take any of the vaccines and said we have the moral responsibility to get vaccinated. Cardinal Dolan has said the same. There is no basis for a priest to issue a religious exemption to the vaccine. So the papacy, during the last 3 years, asserted its claim to unquestionable global authority, asserted its right to determine the common good for all of humanity, and essentially asserted that when the papacy has determined the common good, all your individual human rights are gone forever. They can determine what is in your good, and you're just going to have to obey. That is what the papacy did in the last 3 years. And without going into any great detail, they weren't the only ecclesiastical authority to make those determinations. It happened in Jewish communities, happened in Orthodox communities, and it happened across many Protestant denominations as well. What we find in the pandemic is we talk about Protestants, they take the wine of Babylon, the doctrines of Rome. But the number one doctrine of Rome is the right of Rome to determine the common good. And pretty much every Protestant denomination went along with that.